to another author vlog. We're starting in voiceover mode here because the day I filmed this, I was not in the best place mentally and I really could not talk to a camera. If you're new here, my name is Sheena Peril. I'm a novelist with 13 books out, which you can find linked down below, and among other things, we talk about mental health and neurodivergence on this channel, along with books, reading, stationery, and a lot of knitting and crafting because I also design knitting patterns. So I'm sitting down with the same pencil pouch I use with my main planner. This is pretty stripped down, just 3 highlighters, some post-its, and a colored pen and a black pen. Normally I use black ink, but for editing I like to use a different color, just going with blue here because that's what I had handy. I set up a color code for myself on one of my post-its, stick it inside my portfolio, and we're good to go. And before anyone asks, I did not buy this portfolio. My grandpa was in insurance in the 80s and 90s, and when he retired, I inherited it. I took the company logo off the front, and it is now where my editing projects live, or other things like resumes or important paperwork, depending on the day. But this manuscript was way too big for any of my binders. If you are looking for any of the supplies that I use in this video, you can find some Amazon affiliate links down below where I've been able to find them. If you use those links, it gives me a few cents off your purchase, but it doesn't give you any extra charges or anything like that, and it helps keep me afloat. This time around, we're working on editing a really old manuscript from my UFO video a couple of months ago. I don't want to say any more here about the plot, but the title is The Gothic Ladies Literary Society, and it's kind of like Charmed meets Pride and Prejudice and zombies. If you can think of more up-to-date comps than that, let me know, because apparently all of my cultural references stopped around 2015. This is just my initial read-through. I haven't touched this book since at least 2020, maybe before, probably before. I think I started writing it in 2016. I'm trying to look for big picture changes here, but I really can't help myself when I find poor wording. I've color-coded different things like stuff to take out, stuff that needs expanded on, and you'll see me add post-its here later. Those are kind of notes to myself, questions to ask myself, and they tend to indicate larger potential changes for the book. I queried this book ages and ages ago, but you can still see how many changes I'm making here, so there's always room for improvement, even in something you think is totally polished. One of the reasons this book has been on the shelf for a while is that it's dual timeline, and I got some conflicting feedback about that. I get that dual timelines can be a love it, hate it kind of thing, but in this case, I feel like it's necessary. I started writing the book without it, but the flashbacks were just insane, and they were totally necessary to understand the lore and backstory of this book. I was faced with the choice of going back to massive flashbacks or splitting this into 2 books in the form of a duology, but when I tried that, neither book felt complete, so we're giving dual timeline another try here. Since it's been at least 4 years since I last worked on this, I think I'm a much better writer, and I might handle it better this time. At the very least, I'll handle it differently. I managed to get through the prologue and the first chapter on this day, so we're making good progress. A few days later, and I'm still not feeling up to talking to the camera. I'm up to chapter 3 now and just having a really bad week. Normally, I don't edit anything when my mental health is bad, but honestly, reading through this book is one of the few things bringing me joy right now. Is it a mess? Yes, in places. But I'm also really enjoying it. It reminds me that the things I write are good, and there's a reason I write what I do. Cross-genre novels that are very niche and hard to pin down because they're the books I want to read but haven't been able to find. I only recently finished doing a massive edit on the Evie Capelli series to update the front and back matter, And I figured while I was there, I should go through each book just to make sure there's no small errors I missed. And even though those are my early career books, the first 3 books I have published, even though my publisher couldn't sell the first book, and even though that publisher folded and I've had to backtrack and do it on myself, and even though I still to this day don't make enough money on my writing to live on it, those books are good. They hit a part of me that commercial novels, mainstream books haven't been able to. So, yeah, maybe my books are highly specific and a little weird and kind of dark, but there's a reason for that. And going through this manuscript and updating my backlist has reminded me of that, and it's helping to keep me on target even though it feels like everything is falling apart around me. I've been asked a few times recently what the difference between my Sophia Beaumont and my Sheena Peril books are, and I finally narrowed down what the difference is. Originally, Sophia Beaumont was intended to be a YA pen name, and Sheena Peril was supposed to be for my adult novels. However, they've kind of blended, but there is still a defining line. Both of them deal with dark themes, which includes things like prejudice, race, disability, and mental health, as well as abuse. In the Sophia Beaumont books, you often see the recovery phase. Anything like abuse that happens off the page. If it's a Sheena Peril book, then it's more likely to be on the page. It's not graphic, but you will see some very difficult scenes in those books. There were several days in between here where I did not film or edit because my mental health just tanked. I submitted my final unemployment claim and still no jobs on the horizon. In the final 2 weeks of unemployment, I submitted over 117 applications, and that doesn't even include applications directly on company websites or recruiters who reached out to me directly, or all of the applications submitted in the previous 6 months of full-time job hunting or in the 3 years prior of off and on searching. 2024 has really been a kick 'em when they're down kind of year, at least for me, and we've gotten more bad news this same week. I just hit the point where I couldn't cope anymore, and if you think I've said that a lot this year, I have. It's been a really hard year. I've been on the verge of burnout since the start of 2023. I'll get a week or 2 to recover, but not enough to really get my confidence or stability back. I have trouble with things like manifestation, prayer, meditation, anything that requires faith or belief. Maybe it's my upbringing, maybe it's the logical autism of it all, but I don't do well with blind faith anymore. If I could just manifest a better life, I would have done it when I was 12. A lot of the common advice for problems like mental health or low self-esteem just don't work for me, especially when I'm really low. I just don't believe them, and they often feel stupid, pointless, or childish. August was really bad, and of course, I can no longer take SSRIs because those are what was making me sick in the first place. For a few years now, I have had trouble journaling when I'm really low because instead of getting the feelings out, it feels more like I'm dwelling on them and going deeper and deeper. I based this notebook on one that Sarah Cannon uses. She calls it her evidence notebook, and in it she writes down things that point to her desires and wishes coming true. I've adapted this. You might call it a gratitude journal because I guess that's what it is, but that feels a bit twee to me, so one of those stupid things that therapists and internet gurus tell you. So I just wrote proof good things can happen on the first page. The list is, right now, very short. It includes things like help from friends that we've received in the past few weeks and a surprise credit we got on our electric bill out of the blue. This list will hopefully get longer with time until I no longer need the notebook to remind me that things aren't totally hopeless. Okay, good morning. What is today? Today is Thursday. I have not filmed anything since Sunday or Monday, I think. And it's not because I haven't been working. I have been working a lot. So earlier this week, mental health, bad place, very stressed out. I'm still stressed, but not as stressed. But we did get our rent taken care of. That was a big thing hanging over my head, like Pit and the Pendulum style. So we managed to get that taken care of. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who supported us and helped us get that taken care of. I don't want to call out the specific person who covered the bulk of that. But you know who you are if you're watching this, and thank you so much. I don't want to say your name here if you don't want me to. But I've been working mostly on video stuff this week, admin stuff. One thing that just like compounded stress was I've been using BookFunnel in tandem with my newsletter. So I do have a monthly newsletter. It goes out once a month, usually on the 15th, and it just kind of gives you a roundup of everything that has happened since the last newsletter. There's usually like a video to watch, a blog post that's linked, and then I'll let you know if a book came out or any announcements that were made, if I'm appearing anywhere, that kind of stuff. So I've been using BookFunnel. So when you sign up for the newsletter, you would get a free download of The Spider's Web. Well, BookFunnel changed their plan. I didn't realize this. I think it happened at some point in the past year when things have just been so absolutely insane that if it was not a matter of survival, then it didn't end up on my radar. So I didn't realize that link was broken. Thankfully, I didn't have any signups in that time period. But I was able to find a workaround for that. So now if you would like to sign up for the monthly newsletter, you can do so down below. I have all of my mailing lists linked. There's a total of 3 of them. So if you sign up for the general newsletter, you get an email once a month. And once you sign up, you will be given a discount code that's good in my Gumroad shop. There's a link in there, and if you click on it, you can enter the code to get a copy of either Midnight Radio, which is under my Sophia Beaumont name, or a copy of Off the Rails for free. You can pick your format. It comes in PDF, Mobi, and EPUB. So you can pick whatever format works best for your situation, your e-reader. I know some people prefer to read PDFs on their computers. And so you can download your choice for free. You can even download both of them if you would like. So I got that fixed, and I'm actually really proud of that solution because even though it's not as elegant as I would like, where you just get boom, book in your inbox, it gives me more flexibility, and it gives my readers more flexibility because I'm able to choose a book from each pen name that you can get. I'm able to direct people to my shop, which means that there's the potential for them to spend more money and get other things. I have plenty of stuff that is pay what you want, so you can download for free or pay whatever you care to download. And then I also have some physical items that I've made that have set prices because I need to recoup the cost of making it. So I'm really happy with that solution. I also made some updates to my website and added in all 3 of those mailing lists. I only had the general one listed before, but I also have a mailing list for ARC or Advanced Reader Copy reviewers. If you would like to sign up for that, you don't have to have a huge social media following or any experience. You just have to have an enthusiasm for books, number 1. Number 2, you have to promise to rate and review on Amazon and Goodreads. And number 3, share any good opinions that you have about my work on social media. That's all you have to do. So that's the ARC mailing list. That one goes out usually 1 or 2 times a year. I haven't sent one out this year just because my production schedule got kind of trashed by illness. But it's usually 1 to 3 times a year depending on what my production schedule is. Usually I'll send out like one email in January, like these are the upcoming books you can sign up for, and then I'll send out updates through the year of when those books become available. The third mailing list is if you would like to become a beta reader. Now, if you're a beta reader for Sunflower Hollow, I've already added your name to that list, so you might get emails in the future about it, but you can absolutely ask to be removed from that list if you would like. And it's a form you fill out on Google, and you just tell me like what kinds of books you like, and when one of the books in that genre becomes available for beta reading, then I will send you an email and you can say, yes, I have time. I would love to read an early draft of this book and give you my opinions and let you know what my interest level is in the story. You don't need to have editorial experience or anything like that. My books go through a lot of edits even after the beta reading process. Beta readers are just mainly to tell me like, what is your level of enjoyment of this book? Do you feel like, the relationship between these two characters is believable, or does it feel stale to you? Are you enjoying this plot twist, or does it feel forced? Things like that. So those are the 3 mailing lists. They are all linked on my website, which is again linked down below. I also have direct links to the signups for all of those lists, so you can sign up for those. Other thing I've been working on mostly yesterday was editing video and making short clips that I can post to YouTube and also to Instagram. That's the word. I've not had caffeine yet. You might be able to tell since I cannot seem to find the words for anything. Words are hard. And then today's plan, I'm getting started on this late. I meant to start doing gig work jobs on Monday, but my mental health was trash on Monday. So that did not happen. And Tuesday, Wednesday, I was just busy trying to get other things done. So today I want to get 2 chapters edited, and I also want to do, I need to finish a sign up for 1 gig work website, and I want to find at least 1 more that I can apply to. Gig work is not a permanent solution because I live in King County, Washington, which is one of the most expensive counties in the country. And gig work does not pay our county minimum wage. And if you know anything about minimum wage, you know that minimum wage doesn't pay for you to pay rent. So it's a supplementary income, and I'm hoping that in tandem with my books and my writing and the stuff that I have in my shop, that will help keep us afloat until I can find something more permanent. But that's where things are right now. So it would really help out if you could check out the shop down below, Amazon shop, whichever. I will say that due to Amazon regulations, it is a lot easier if you purchase directly from me, just because number one, I get everything from that sale rather than a portion. And number 2, Amazon will not pay me unless I have $100 built up. So that means that even if, you're buying a book in July or August, I might not get paid for that until January, just because I haven't hit that $100 threshold. I have a couple of other admin things that I need to do. I need to work some more on my Ingram setup this week, and I've got to make an adjustment to one of my Amazon listings. there's something off with one of my covers. Like, it's a pixel off from what they want. So I need to go in and fix it, which I hate doing. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't have the proper tools for that. But right now, I'm the only option. So I'm going to work on that. Yeah. Okay, good morning. It is now Friday. I just woke up. I'm just getting ready for the day. I'm gonna do about an hour, maybe 2 hours of editing, and then I have some errands to run this afternoon. I did a whole bunch of job search stuff last night just because, if you don't know, I got laid off in 2021. I've been temping since, and my temp agency stopped calling me because I asked for reasonable accommodation. So I have not been able to find work in 6 months, and I run out of unemployment next week. So I am really struggling right now. I don't know what we're gonna do. I applied to some gig work positions and got rejected from them, which I didn't know that gig work websites rejected you. There is a lot of background noise today because our landscapers are here. It's just very noisy outside right now, but I still want to get some work done. So I'm going to start working on that, and I'm going to try and send a couple of query letters today. I'm not feeling very hopeful about the query letters right now because I thought there were a lot more agents taking cozy mysteries, and I was only able to find 8, but at least 3 of them are closed to queries right now. So I would really rather that Sunflower Hollow end up as a traditionally published book, but I have a feeling that I'm going to end up having to publish it myself again because querying is hard, and I tend to write the books that I want to read and can't find, which means that they are less commercial than what a big 5 agency or publisher wants. So just another book to add to the stack, and I'm feeling pretty defeated right now. So let's just get some editing done and see if we can make some progress on that, because that is one of the few things I can control right now. What are you doing, Hermes? Are you taking over my editing while I'm gone? Hmm? Are you gonna work on edits while I run errands? Are you a good editor? Hmm. Good morning. It is 9 a.m. on Wednesday. I have some chai cooling off right now. I've got my manuscript in front of me. I'm up to page 189 out of 270 something. I have a very needy muffin who wants to be the center of attention, despite the somewhat grumpy look on his face. And I want to get about an hour of edits done on this manuscript before I start the rest of the day. I have a lot of more physical work that I need to do today, like laundry. I've just started the dishwasher, and I've got some blocking and ironing and sewing stuff that I need to do for future videos. So let's get started on that. And hopefully this little muffin will not be in the way while I am working today. If you are wondering why I'm crossing out pages and pages of book, that is because this is a dual timeline novel, like I explained, and the first half of each chapter is the previous timeline. And because of the changes that I'm making at the beginning of the book, that is drastically changing how the past timeline works. So basically, everything I have written for the past timeline after about chapter 5 has to be rewritten. So, like I said, this book is a hot mess. It needs a lot of work, which is why I'm doing this read through right now. There's about one chapter in this book left to edit, but I'm going to finish it off camera because I just don't have time right now and need to wrap up this video. We'll come back to it in a few weeks when I start the actual rewrites and implementing some of these changes on the computer. As always, I would appreciate it a lot if you could check out some of the links down below for my books, my patterns. You can get signed up for my mailing list and get free books through those links. And until next time, please stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope you have something cute and fluffy to cuddle with. Ciao!